The usual other side of the coin of yesterday's video. Not much else to say for the intro. Wait, no, apart from one thing. Just remember that these rankings aren't strictly based on how good these partnerships were, but instead about a 50-50 mix of how good they were and how underrated they've been since they've disbanded, if you like. Again, please remember that. I know you won't. 7 brief but brilliant partnerships since 2004. Also, there won't be any defensive pairs on this list, as players down that side of the pitch who form good partnerships tend to move around a lot less. Thus, it's logical their alliances are leggier, go lengthier, and last longer than their more lax-lauded and loved-up allies. Let's roll on. Number 7, Diego Costa and Cesc Fabregas. Okay, so because I didn't go into it yesterday, for those of you wondering why Diego Costa didn't work out in that Spanish super team after he switched his allegiance in 2013 when he was 25. Sorry, I just can't let that go. Well, you see, Costa usually works best when he's in a defensive counter-attacking setup as the primary focal point of the attack, with either attacking fullbacks who'd look to find him with crosses, or one chief creator who'd look to spot his runs every chance he gets. None of which Spain were known for. Boggles the mind how he thought this would work out. Guess he was just naive. I mean, weren't we all at 24. Alright, I promise I'll try and let it go. But you know sides who did operate the way Costa preferred? Atletico Madrid under Simeone with Koke always looking for Costa. Atletico Madrid under Simeone with Griezmann always looking for Costa. And Chelsea under Jose Mourinho with Fabregas always looking for Costa. And listen, I'm not a huge fan of this guy. Don't know if you could tell. And to be fair, it would be easy for me to just give Fabregas all the credit and bounce. But to actually be fair, these guys were both ideal for one another. Cesc had a very similar relationship with Van Persie at Arsenal that worked really well, and combined that with Costa's natural physical game, as long as referees protected him, meaning he didn't really need to take all that long to adjust to the Premier League like other players from Latin countries do. These guys began firing from pretty much the get-go, eventually ending the 14-15 season with a Premier League title, Costa finishing with 21 goals in all competitions that season, and Fabregas finishing with 24 assists in all competitions that season. Number 6, Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. Don't lie, CR7 fanboys, this was good. Look, Messi's time at PSG led us to see two sides of the man. In the big games against tough opposition, we usually saw him walk around, pay homage to his childhood hero Marcus Rashford by running into people for no earthly reason, or get the ball and wonder why Jordi Alba wasn't making the overlapping run. It's cause you forgot to pack him, Leo. But in the smaller games against lesser opposition, we saw him and Mbappe damage a few teams like Montpellier, Cagliari, Maccabi Haifa, Clermont-Foot, and to be fair, Marseille one time. And yes, look, I myself have said a few times that when considering the opposition and PSG's crazy team, it's not all that impressive. But you see, following Messi's slightly acrimonious departure from PSG and him later basically admitting how much he hated being there, some CR7 fans have kinda made it out as if he sulked all the way through and got along with no one. That's not true, because when the right opposition presented themselves and Leo was on his game, he and Mbappe did what he and Mbappe were expected to do. Number 5, Edinson Cavani and Cristiano Ronaldo. They had a combined age of 70 at the time. One of them could barely walk most weeks, but man, they were great together. And no, I don't mean great in similar manner to Ronnie's partnerships with the likes of Benzema and Rooney and those 1-2s and no-look passes. Though, having said that, this goal against Spurs was sweet as all fuck. But these guys just had a natural understanding of each other's movements. They knew the spaces they liked to occupy and also knew how to complement that properly. Which is why, do your research. It's not a coincidence that whenever Cavani started and or came on for United alongside Ronaldo in that small period in late 2021, United more often than not either won the game comfortably, leveled the game from a losing position, or won it from a level position. Simply put, when Cavani was on the pitch, Ronaldo always looked a lot more comfortable. And I doubt I need to tell you why it wouldn't have been very good news for opposing teams if this was more of a regular occurrence. Number 4, Andy Cole and Darius Vassell. So if you're a Man City fan and you're watching this, well, first of all, hi. And I don't mean to sound like a creep, but where exactly are you right now? Sorry, it's just that I've heard of your kind, just haven't seen it in the flesh. Kinda fascinating. So yeah, listen, this was basically City's Aguero and Haaland before Aguero and Haaland probably even knew there was a second club in Manchester. Probably even before you knew that there was a second club in Manchester. I'll stop now. And if you're wondering what the Aguero and Haaland of 2005-2006 look like, well, 17 league goals between them in 58 games, but hear me out. Number 1, believe it or not, these numbers for pre-oil Man City were actually quite decent. And number 2, Man City in the beginning of that season lost their best player Sean Wright-Phillips to Chelsea. They replaced him with 2 new signings in old man Andy Cole, as well as the golden generation's favourite super sub, Darius Vassell. And not only did they fill the void left by Wright-Phillips, they seemed to top what he did, going on a mini unbeaten run in the beginning of the season, with Cole and Vassell forming a pretty simple yet effective partnership. Coley using his experience and in-game IQ to link up play and make the right movements to hurt defenses in the then limited amount of opportunities Stuart Pearce's City used to get, while Vassell made up for his partner's aging legs with blistering pace, strength, and a rocket of a shot. And by late February, these guys were on an impressive run in the FA Cup and a decent one in the Premier League, with notable victories over Newcastle, Everton, Villa, as well as United themselves. A game where Vassell actually scored, assisted by Andy Cole, who, by the way, was actually lucky that he was able to walk out of Old Trafford that day. But walk out, he did. No, not for long. Remember what I said about Andy Cole being old? Yeah, he was old, picking up an injury in March, ending his season prematurely, after which City lost 10 of their last 12 games. I think it's fair to say that's impact confirmed. Number 3, Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen. Of all the times Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen lined up together for England lost a competitive game when both were still on the pitch on just 2 occasions, neither of which were at home or even neutral venues like the tournaments took place in. And speaking of which, let's not forget, people, they were beating France at Euro 2004 before both were subbed off. They were beating Portugal before Rooney was stretchered off. They annihilated both Croatia and Switzerland in between that time, with England finishing as the top scoring team in the group stages that tournament. And I will stand by this until the very end, they would have brought the cup home had Wazza stayed fit. And yet, not only do neither of them rate each other as one of their favourite partners and have stated that they both preferred playing alongside Emil Heskey, great, but I've also heard a couple of comments from others saying that this partnership didn't work out. Did it not? Fuck. I mean, listen, Wayne Rooney could work with anyone. This list could have been filled with many of his lesser appreciated partnerships alone, like Chicharito and Louis Saha, but I do believe his rapport with Michael Owen for England is what is most underappreciated, considering how good they actually were. I mean, not only did they take Euro 2004 by storm, as I just outlined, not only did they strike fear into any and every defense they faced, especially with David Beckham behind them being capable of finding them at any given point, but they together orchestrated that victory over then World Cup favourites Argentina in what is, honest to God, to this day now 20 years later, still the greatest game of football I've ever watched. Amazing. Number 2, Diego Forlan and Luis Suarez, a cult hero for Manchester United, an icon for Liverpool, a creative and unselfish all-round forward, a dream partner for any striker, an extremely fair and humble character, something similar, came together at different ends of their careers and took their country, a country who hadn't gotten past the group stages of the World Cup in 2 decades, to a 3rd place finish. And then in the very next year, they brought Copa America home, with both netting in the final. Suarez and Sturridge was good, but honestly, Suarez and Forlan may have just been a tad better. Number 1, Ruud and Raul. To be honest, Van Nistelrooy's entire stint at Real is extremely underrated. Like, before his injury in November 2008, Milan won the Pichichi, equaled La Liga scoring streak, a record he also set in the Premier League as well, and won the league on both of his full seasons there. And no question, other than his old teammate Bex, it was his captain whom he shared the best chemistry with. Remember what I said yesterday about Shevchenko and Drogba's partnership hypothetically working due to their individual profiles? Well, these guys took that notion and made it practical. Raul was an unselfish deep-lying forward, Ruud was a ruthless finisher with tunnel vision, and together they were dangerous, smashing through teams like Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona on a few occasions, as well as Valencia. Why the emphasis on Valencia? Because of this goal. Yup, you've all seen it, and that's who it was against. Man, what a time. One of the greatest team goals you've ever seen, involving one of Real's most underappreciated partnerships they've ever seen, from the greatest title race I've ever seen, amidst one of the greatest all-round seasons we've ever seen. The memories do well and truly remain. And that is that. Agree or disagree? Beats indifference. So what do you think of this list? Are there any other brief but brilliant partnerships that I've missed out? Let me know in the comments below. And as usual, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Till next time, you keep rolling.